Hi, my name is Dylan Hong, this is Dylan Hong Tech, and today we're going to be checking out the Smooth-Q 3-axis smartphone stabilizer, a gimbal, by the company named Zhiyun. My Chinese isn't that great. There are a lot of technical minutia and things like that about this stabilizer that I don't really think are completely worth covering, so I'm going to skim over a lot of the software really quickly and get really into the core of the hardware and what the stabilizer is going to be able to do for you. Coming in at right over $100, this is not a cheap tool, but not an expensive tool in the world of photography, filmography, and just video production. Opening the packaging, it's pretty nice. It comes with a carrying case, a USB cable, it charges through micro USB, and it's supposed to give you around 12 hours of battery life and continuous usage. And from what I have found, I haven't actually used it for 12 hours straight, but it does last a really long time. The technical stuff that I want to get through really quickly is mostly about the computer and phone applications. The Windows application for this product I don't think is worth it. It's pretty clunky, not necessarily worth using. The smartphone application does pretty much exactly what you need it to do, and it's very mediocre. The software is built around functionality, and some of it allows you to really control finite things like pan speed and acceleration, and those things could be important to you. But other than that, I pretty much just use the smartphone app for calibration and software updates. And you get some slight control features that I do recommend accessing through the smartphone app, and it allows you to get a better sense of the readout while you're using the device and gets you more accompanied to how the device works. But once you figure all that out, it's really all about just using the device to get the shots you want to get. Putting your smartphone in the device is a little clunky, but otherwise totally fine. And if you have a larger phone, you will have to sort of lengthen the extending arm that holds your phone so it doesn't click against itself when you're using the 3-axis stabilization. I highly recommend calibrating through the software application. It takes like a minute or two and is sort of intuitive in a way. You just place the device on a flat surface in the ways that the pictures tell you to, and you'll figure it out if you play with it a little bit. I have a few notes about the actual build of the hardware. First of all, it's plastic handheld, so if you are going to be using audio, you probably want an external microphone. One, there's a slight motor rumble if you get into some sort of, edge cases of the gyroscopic motor stabilization. So if you tilt it in a way that it maybe has a little more trouble balancing out, you do hear the motor whine just a little bit. And also, it's a plastic build, so it squeaks not very much, but there is noise, there is give. And you don't necessarily want that in audio because it's touching directly to your microphone if you're just using your smartphone, and that's not going to be particularly professional. So this is very much about getting cinematic shots and not necessarily just having the iPhone or Samsung Galaxy or Pixel be the full-featured filming and audio device. There are 3 software modes on the gimbal. The first one is this pan mode. Pan mode follows your motions when you tilt side to side, and it does this in a really smooth, panned out way. And if you move up and down, it'll lock the angle at which it is facing the front. So this is really helpful for potentially ground up shots that, you're bringing the camera from the ground up, leaving it there, and then potentially panning over to another subject. The next one is lock. Lock completely just does what it says. It locks it in place. You can move around and it'll stay focused on the same area. So all of the degrees and axes are supposed to stay relatively similar or exactly the same depending on the circumstances. And then there's follow. So follow, you hold the gimbal completely vertical and it follows all of your motions and just sort of smooths everything you're doing out. I think they all have their specific purpose, and once again, if you play with it, you'll get accustomed to how you use it, and it'll be actually really helpful. You are blocked off by certain degrees of freedom on the device, so you can't completely make just crazy arm movements and hand movements. There are points where it will click against itself, especially if you have to extend the phone portion. And there are occasional instances that the tracking will sort of shuffle off and not be able to completely follow you, but those are pretty much the extent of all of my gripes. Also, as a side note, there's a pretty cool feature with the gimbal where it has a USB port, so you can actually plug your phone into the battery of the gimbal, and it just makes sure that your phone is charged and can hold a charge while you're doing your filming. So that's pretty much as technical as I want to go with that sort of stuff. Basically, the software is meh, but usable. You actually get a lot of fine-tuned controls in the style of panning, so you can really play around with the variables and how quick and how smooth you want pans to be, so you have a lot of control. The hardware is good, not great, but the functionality, when it shines, it really shines. The pans are really, really smooth, and you can just get a lot of shots that you otherwise wouldn't be able to with your hand. But I do want to talk more about where this device fits into just content creation in general. Because at the $100 price range, it's not, you know, for everybody. No one should just go and pick one up just because they have a smartphone. And it's also not quite as expensive as, you know, really high-end film equipment. You're not going to be able to put a DSLR on this, so who is this for? When I first started out on YouTube, I filmed everything on an iPod Touch, and this device is pretty much for me like 6 years ago. For all of you content creators, YouTubers, people who make short films with their smartphones, this is perfect for you. It's true that, you know, smartphones are extremely capable cameras. I mean, if you've seen the video and picture quality from the Pixel 2, the iPhone, the Samsung Galaxy series, it's amazing, and you can do so much with them. This is just another way for you to up your game if you're already creating content with smartphones. Filmmakers especially know that there are a lot of techniques and styles that you just add to your repertoire, and eventually smartphones, you know, there are things that you just can't do. And for $100, the Smooth-Q stabilizer allows you to add a lot more shots to your repertoire, and it's really great for things that include motion, include panning. Just, there are things that you can't do. Optical image stabilization in smartphones has gotten really, really good. And because of that, there are some really smooth shots that you can just get with your hand nowadays. But I also think that the Smooth-Q complements that in a way that allows for ridiculously, like, dolly looking smooth shots with your smartphone, and I think that's really, really cool. I've got to give a huge shout out to Antech Direct for sending me the product and allowing me to review it. My name is Dylan Hong, this has been Dylan Hong Tech. Like and subscribe for some more tech goodness, and thanks for watching.
What the heck? Just waiting right outside. Yo, it's your boy Keemstar here with another video from H3H3, brought to you by Caprisso, not a sponsor. Alright, let's go ahead here. This is my kitchen. Alright, this is the new house tour. This is my oil and the stove. What more can a man need? And is that color? Is that yellow?